Okay, so thank you very much for being here, Vincent. I'm welcoming you to this InfoAct interview about the Industry 4.0. And we're going to discuss about the innovation impact of circular multilayer plastic packaging in the industrial sector. First of all, I want to introduce our guest speaker, Vincent Verney, who is CEO at Recycle Consulting and NuturAdds. And he's also a former CNRS researcher at Sigma Clermont. So thank you again for accepting the invitation. And I think that's very valuable to have some really practical examples like you actually had with the Terminus project, Horizon 2020 project, Europe. And I'm pretty sure that this is a very interesting example, and we will have the time to get into some details of it. First of all, let's start our discussion about what are the major current and upcoming challenges regarding the packaging in the industrial sector.
Okay, so thank you for introducing me. It's a pleasure to be there and to respond to this interview. I hope it will be profitable for everybody who listen this talk. And regarding your question, there are a lot of challenges, of course. And packaging had bad feeling by consumer because you heard about plastic pollution and everywhere in the planet, in the ocean, and this is widely attributed to packaging sector because we use a lot of plastic packaging, probably too much. If they are not well managed, they will be abandoned in the environment. And packaging represents quite 40% of all the plastic produced. So it's a very, very huge quantity. The world production of plastic is nearly 400 million tons each year. So 40% is great amount of plastic. And if they are not well managed, a big quantity in the garbage wasting. So for the most challenging is to be acceptable by the consumer. The acceptance by the consumer.
Yeah, is this also? I remember in the previous discussion that we talked also about this speed in which the multi-layer, the plastic, is, for example, in packaging, it lasts very few time in the consumer, in the loop, and how difficult it is to reintegrate this into the production process. Is this also a challenge regarding this innovation process in packaging?
Yeah, it's very challenging. And you have to understand that packaging are useful. They are not used to be beautiful. Of course, there is marketing behind the packaging. But the first function is to protect the package, the food package. And by the way, they render a lot of services for the humanity by protecting food, by saving food waste, and it's really important that the consumer must consider that packaging is important for food safety and so on. It's the reason why you have different kinds of packaging. You have mono-layer packaging. They are films, usually flexible films or rigid films, made with only one plastic, one kind of plastic, and there is only one layer. And if you want to ensure a very high level of protection, especially barrier properties toward oxygen, humidity, and so on, you have to use multi-layer. Multi-layer means that you have different layers stick together, and you can have 7, 10 different layers, and this layer are different chemical nature. So the fact that this layer are from different chemical nature makes them non-recyclable. So this is a very, very big concern regarding the environmental treatment of
yeah, there is a big complexity in between having this transformation. So how do you think that it's the better way to address this innovation in a complex issue like packaging?
For me, the best is to be able to control to have the control on the service life of the materials. It means that you have to be able to design a specific material that will, of course, respond to the requirement, safety, barrier properties, and so on. But you have also to integrate in the design the recycling capability at the end of the life. It is called the recycling by design. So if you think of the recycling capabilities since the design, you can manage at the best the life of the material. It means the material will respond to the requirements of using, and then it will be recyclable. So you solve one major issue, that is that this material was not recyclable. But more than that, if you can have the control of the time, of the temporality of each step of the life cycle, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it has
you can
a long.
Imagine that this material have a short use life, because the packaging made to protect food, and you eat food. So as soon as you eat food, the packaging is becoming a waste. So they are not so much aged material because their lifetime is very short, less than 1 year. So you can imagine that if you address the topic of resource with the comparison of the time scale of the using of this material, it's totally stupid, because we use carbon coming from people resource to process chemicals, materials, plastic films that we shall use for 1 year.
Yeah,
the carbon.
Vincent, I'm talking in a more general level. If we, I mean, if we talk about industry in Europe, how does innovation, or this kind of innovation that you're just mentioning, is playing a role into this industrial transition, or is it playing a role, or not really?
Yeah, a major role, because plastic materials are made with carbon, and this carbon comes from resource, and then at the end of their life, they will be transformed in CO2 at the end of the life of the plastic. The end byproduct of any carbon material is the CO2. So if you are able to manage the carbon resource and CO2 final byproduct, it's a major role to play in the transition. And again, also, to process plastics, it is necessary to use high temperature process. So you can also work on the best management of the energy used for plastic sector. It's also an important point that we can address in the competition in plastic sector. And if you look at the European dimension, I don't know exactly how many people are employed, how many workers work in the plastic sector, but it's a lot. And the business attached to this sector is very, very important. It is one of the major sector in the chemical industry in Europe. And you have a lot of major actors in Europe because of the historical past, real past of Europe, especially in the field of chemistry.
Yeah, pretty much. And what if we take this last few minutes to introduce a bit about the project, Terminus project, also that you are leading, Horizon 2020 project, and what are the soft skills and the hard skills also that you think that are necessary in order to make a sustainable and a circular transition in this kind of projects like the Terminus?
Terminus is a research innovation action. It means it's driven by research, and it must end to demonstration capability. The Terminus is a 14 partners collaborative project with chemists, with specialists of plastic processing, with large companies like Tetra Pak, for instance, that everybody knows, with a small SME processing multilayer, and with different experts in different fields. And it is mainly characterized by the interdisciplinary. It means that you have chemists, you have industrial people, you have some people working on circular economy, life cycle assessment, and in the chemist, you have different fields of expertise that connect, that join organic chemistry with biochemistry, with plastic polymer chemistry, end of life management. So it's a really big project with a great content of interdisciplinary.
And who do you think that once the project finished, who do you think should be in charge of scaling it up or put it that into implementation? This kind of, because a lot of really interesting outcomes have been produced out of this kind of projects.
You're right. As I told you, it's research innovation activity ranging, scaling from TRL 3.4 to 5.6. So at the end, as I told you, we have to demonstrate the feasibility of our research and innovation development. But we are willing to go beyond. And for instance, we have a program, an industrial scale, trials with the Terminus results. It will happen 1 month, 2 months. I hope it will be successful, but we did not stop at the pilot scale level. We go beyond, we are going beyond, and it's also main interest of the Terminus industrial workshop that we shall organize very soon in 3 weeks in Clermont. It's also to disseminate the results, because thanks to the industrial community, because some industry partners can be attracted by the result, they can be willing to upscale and to go to the industrial scaling. But you are right, there are not so many tools to be able to forecast and to forward the results in industrial sector. But we are thinking about
Yeah, I think that's the really necessary steps, and that's where the upcoming research should drive us.
yeah.
I wish a lot of success in your coming projects, Vincent. And thank you very much again for joining us, for accepting the invitation to participate in this interview, and thank you again.
Thank you for invited me. It was really nice. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.